out goes the powerhouse, and the COVID-19 man has come to deliver you from the empty land, from the ones who have been silenced to the promised land of the ALEFBET, which is the original place for the soul of a man, where he can now get his jubilee and abide safe like he's never been, in the power of the Father, in the powerhouse, cause that's what word electric, love electric, in the ALEFBET we're connected. Word electric, love electric, in the powerhouse we're connected. Truth in the Torah where it is, that's right. And whether you like it or not, I just don't give a damn, cause in this thing the end is gonna be for sure. It's got a date before the song began to score. This ain't no lie, we about to fly, cause in the truth there's nothing that can be denied. Here's the COVID-19 man is hooking you up to the ALEFBET, to the powerhouse with you waving. The COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up, cause that's what word electric, love electric, in the ALEFBET we're connected. Word electric, love electric, to no one else I'm genuflecting. Word electric, love electric, to the powerhouse I'm connected. And then I want to get your power back, cause you will find in there the powerhouse not scared. You won't be silenced, nobody can touch what you will find in there. Gets to cut the masking back of lies, the righteous now they cries, cause the COVID-19 man is gonna hook you up to the powerhouse. Live the power show, ride this mule around. And welcome, my fellow Debarians. Welcome to HDTV 28, Adabarim Torah Post 613. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to be in communication with you today. Checking on the volume here to make sure that we are in communication. So it's good to have you, my fellow Debarians. It's good to come this Sunday and join you. I have a very powerful message to share with you. Something I was recorded a little earlier today. We had a lunchtime here in my house, and I was able to, relate this message to those that were present. And I want to share with everybody else here. All right, now we'll set the background first, and then we'll delve into the message. Let me go here to a window that we can talk from. We'll take one that is likely that we're going to be using here. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me get to this one. All right. So here we are today. I'm looking at the observatory. I like to go here because I like this play on words. We're here to observe the Torah. That's why I use to observe the Torah. That's why I use a picture of the observatory, to convey the idea that that's what we're doing. All right. Because to me, the Torah is the universe for the whole soul. If we were made to understand the ALEFBET, which means Father, that's exactly the manual for the best care of the ALEFBET, for the best care of the Father that's going to be in us, and that's how we take care. Of the ALEFBET in us, we grow. By taking care of the ALEFBET in us, we grow into the character of the Father. That's our heritage. And so, let me bring a picture here of what I'm talking about. Let me go. Give me a second. Okay. This week I share this picture. You recall. Let me see. Yeah, this one, which I talk about. How I began to mention how value is transferred from something that is the real Father, and that represents that by signal. The Father, alphabet is the father and founder of everything that's been made by words. Because everything that has ever been made, for whether it's book, a script, diagram, everything needs to be using the alphabet. So the alphabet happens to be the father of all of that. So there's no escaping that. And that's a clear understanding, the practical way of looking at it. So it generates life, it generates activity. Okay, now there are people that take on the name of fathers, but they don't procreate. They don't do anything like that because they take about of celibacy. So what they're doing is they're ruining the name of what a father is. They just take on the name, so they have a sound. That sounds good. Father is a good sound to it, but they do not emit any signal because they don't share any kids of their own. Okay, they go to the wrong way of the Torah. The Torah, when it says gives a word, it also is a signal. It gives you the definition of meaning. You're going to take the title of a father, you're going to have a strong house of your own and a strong family of your own. Then you're representing the father. If you're taking the title of a father and you don't do that, then a misrepresentation, a twisting of the name. So I began to explain this week when I talked about these things. Now I wanted to share with you the main topic here, and then I'm going to give you like an intro to the message. The message, I'm so sorry, but it's kind of blurry in certain areas. I don't know why the camera was acting up. So it goes from being clear picture to a little blurry, but at least the words are coming out all right. So this is the time I gave this message while they were having the lunch and while we were waiting for Grubhub and we're waiting for DoorDash for the two different orders. We have put an order from Versalles, the Cuban food, and an order from Pollo Campero. And we're waiting for those things. So in between the message, I get to kind of pause to receive the food, and then I give a blessing for the food. But you get to see that. So I did not cut anything. I don't have time to cut up anything. So you're gonna get everything raw, as it came out during the lunchtime today. So I'm sharing to you as it is. No, nothing cut here, nothing trimmed down. I'm not trying to embellish anything. Just put it raw as it came out. All right. So, but basically the message today, we're talking about. Let me see here. Okay, let me take this out so I can get the other picture of what the message is about today, and then put it in here. Let me do this. And ta-da. Yeah. Okay, this is the message for today. All right. Says the COVID-19 man says, yield not your inner worth to your outer world. And it's all yours. You were made to have the ALEFBET. ALEFBET is Greek, it's not Greek, Hebrew for father. Ab means father. It's interesting that that language he introduces himself as a father with those words. And means a strong house, a strong family. He's here to support a strong family is us. The first commandment he gave for everything that he made, including us, FMR. Be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. And anybody that takes on the titles and not doing the FMR is in violation of the first commandment there that was given, so because that's how a father is going to represent himself. That's the first thing he ordered them. And so the first thing we get is to be parents. That's why we get to be in this world. We have to be parents or take care or be caretakers of something that is put into our hands to take care of. That's why you go to any job to be the parent of a product or service that they want you, to take in as the child, or, the idea that made them rich. Your mind takes it, you take care of the definitions and meanings, and, you give birth to the products and services, so you are like a surrogate mother. That's what the role of your soul. So you do the parenting. That's what we inherit, and that's what we're going to do. All right? That's why all nations is mandatory that you learn the ALEFBET, that you learn the alphabet. Why is it essential? Because you, my friend, you and I have to learn the alphabet because that's our heritage. We were made to be parents because once you learn the alphabet, then you can go out into the world of the mule, the manpower of hell, lame economy that cannot do the FMR by itself, cannot be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. And you're going to have to go in the company. You're going to have to take in that seed, that idea, take it into you, understand it, and bring out, give birth to the product and service, and take care of those products and services to keep it in renew, restore. So every job that you do is to do a parenting care for the product and service of whatever the corporate owner or any entrepreneur came up with. That's no escaping that. Because that's what is mandatory that the alphabet is given to us. All nations make sure, because you're going to have to become parents to all the products and services that they want you to make. So there is no escaping that. That's why with the alphabet, the father of all things, he doesn't mind being a father of all things. Because of the orders of meaning and definition, nothing is kept. So he never abandons that. He's happy to be the father of all things. But what happened to us is that what was inheriting for us is not given to us. We do not understand. We go to work, we don't understand what we do in the parenting or what products, but that's exactly what you do because you were made for the ALEFBET. That's why you inherit. Okay, so let me read your passage here, and I want to get into for you to hear the rest of the message. But I'm going to read from this one. It says here, this is Isaiah chapter 1. It says, the vision of Israel, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1, the vision of Israel, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Josiah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. For the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished. He's talking about the divine nurturing. That's what the Father does. He does, by nature, he does the divine nurturing. You know, and we were born to understand and live in this divine nurturing. Do the divine nurturing, or you do the dirt nap. And we chose to go for the dirt nap. You know, dirt we are and dirt we became, and, you know, lay on the ground with all the products of the dirt. So in any case, for divine, so for the Lord hath spoken, I have nourished, you know, I have nurtured and brought up children. And what has happened? Do they want to be like me? Do they appreciate the nurturing so that they just want to continue to do that? You know, in the sense of taking care of words and what have you, so they can be in my main page, whatever. And they have rebelled. They don't want that for themselves. They don't want the divine nurturing to be coming out of them. They don't want to grow up to that. So the ox, this is interesting here. This now verse 3. The ox knoweth, you know, his owner, and the ass his master's crib. So the ox knows who takes care of him. And who is that? Me and you, be human beings. So we have to act like parents to the ox and take care of his feeding, you know, making sure that he has everything we need. We have to take care of the ass and take care that he has sufficient to eat and is well taken care of. So we do the job of parenting to these animals, you know, whether they be sheep, whether they be cattle, you know, whether they be goats. We're going to do the parenting. We're going to be the caretakers, okay? So all these things are ours to give the caretaker of the forties. We become parents to everything that is put in our hands to take care of. So it's interesting that it says, the ox knoweth his owner. So you do the ALEFBET, you do the fathering for the ox. And also the ass knows that you do the fathering for them. So the ass knows that you take care of them, that you're a caretaker for them. But you, this is an interesting thing, and this is a sad thing, my people do not consider, they don't understand what they were made for. They were made for the ALEFBET. Will they have the attitudes that God has toward the caring of words? Now, God does not know a word just by a sound. He knows the word as a signal. That means that he can teach you how to do something, not just to say the name like a parrot, not just to say car like a parrot does, but to signal the word car in the sense that you know it with its mom and dad. That's its meanings and definitions, and therefore you can generate a car. You can give birth to a car. That's how God does things. He treasures meanings and definitions. He honors the mother and father of every word, because that way, when the mother and father, when the word, a wholesome word has the meanings and definitions, the mother and father, then it gives birth to something, to a product or service. And that's how he presents the character of the Father. So you never abandon the idea that reality comes from the meanings and definitions. You hold on to that, and you never abandon that, you know, that mindset and that way of thinking. And then you bring out of the world the best representation of the Father in this world. So we are all called to that. You go to every job, whether you're a computer, you're there to be a parent to the computer. You know, to nourish that thing, assemble it, put it together, and keep it new while you work in the plant. You work in a car manufacturing company, that's exactly what you do. You're a parent and a caretaker of cars to make sure they stay new, refreshed, looking brand new. You put all your knowledge and you become a parenting to all of that. There's no escaping. But you forgot that you yourself needed to grow in the mindset. So then you understand that everything that you do, just to keep meanings and definitions, that's how you have that intimacy with the ALEFBET. And you never leave that, because you're on the same page with him 24/7. You are enjoying the order of the things that he gives you to give. And it is him. It is the ALEFBET that worketh in you. And you never abandon that. And so that's what these people is. So they know you cannot abandon that. That's why it's mandatory that every school that you go to, every nation makes it mandatory that you're going to learn the app. You're going to learn what the word for, because out of knowing the order, you can at least go work for companies and become parents in the mule. Manpower of hell, lame economy. And so there's no escaping. All right? Everybody's going to do the parenting because every job you're called to do this. Even if you don't have the thing was, but you forgot. You forgot to grow up in the character with the attitudes, that the real father of creation has. And that's why you find no meaning. So that's why the Torah was given. With 613 mitzvahs, that they're nothing more than way of taking care of your environment. From your children, from your parents, from the name of God, from his days, and everything that had to do. So at the end of the day, it looks like you're doing things for everybody. You're doing things for the Sabbath. Taking care of the Sabbath. You're doing things for your neighbor. You're not killing him. You're not stealing from him. You're not coveting anything from him. You're doing things for your father. You're paying for them. You're honoring them. You're doing things not to blaspheme their name as you take his representation. You're doing things not to put anything before the face of God. You're doing all these things for everybody. For God, for your neighbor, for your parents. What do I do? What do I get for myself? Don't you understand? Each letter that you do that is a command of God, it's like you're working for a company. All the things that you do, the regulations and everything you have to do with the company, that's the will of the owner of that company. And you doing the will of the company, and therefore his ideas are flowing through you and they're being activated through you. In the sense of God, it is his word, the ALEFBET, that enables us to be activated, that gives us our motor skills, that enables us to put our thoughts together. He is the one that is freely flowing. So it's the intimacy of being one with him and being still and understanding that it is the word, the ALEFBET, that do it all the work. And that's how I enjoy intimacy with him. It's all a matter of connecting with him. But the people forgot that. They wanted to get something out of this world. The only thing we inherit, our soul, is a spark of the divine. He came from the breath, the neshama of God. Okay, so he joins back with him when he learns to fall in love, with the words the way he does. Because that's all he keeps. Because if he forgets to take care of it, the whole thing will disappear. Everything is being held by the fact that he thinks of it, and he constantly keeps the meaning and definitions of everything that he has made. He knows the meaning of definition of our DNA. That's why we stay coherent. He knows the meaning of definition of everything that's out there, and that's what he holds on to. And so when you call you to be a divine nurturer, that's what you inherit, okay? So there's no escaping that, okay? But then it says in verse 4, all sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers. You're not doing the tithe, you're not doing the good stuff, the functional stuff. Children that are corrupters, you corrupt the file. It's a corrupt file. You take the app and you misinterpret it. You think you have to get something out of this world. You're here to uphold everything in this world and to make economies come to life, not to take anything away from it. You understand? Because your whole job is to enjoy that intimacy of the ALEFBET that worketh in you and doeth all the work. Okay? And to honor that is, and you are from the ALEFBET, it's what everything comes. That's what gives you worth. That's what gives you value, because it's the one that's doing everything to run all the economies in the world. And when you establish it now, my friends, you are at ease. You are at peace. You are at one with your maker, and nothing else in this world can scandalize you, can trouble you, can make you afraid. So this is part of the thing that I'm going to share with you, and with no further ado, let me put it in here, okay, because we don't want to, I was going to read some more, but it's going to be too long because it's a very long message. Let me take you so we can share this now. And I put you here, the cinema. Here we go. All right, my fellow Bavarians. This is Sunday today, and holding this camera up here right now in my house today. So, have Andy there. We have Brian over there. All right, so we're waiting for the food to come right now. We ordered from Cuban food from Versalles. And I also ordered something from Pollo Campero. So we're going to two places coming up. So you can eat kind of thing today. Because I'm about to give you the mother load. of information here of why the Torah is, in the Rashit of God, in the wisdom of God. The Rashit is the female head. Bereshit, it says in the beginning, it's translated that way, but it says in the female head or in the wisdom of God. So I'm about to give you the Rashit, and tell you that the Torah is the Rashit. I'm not saying the bad word, that's the shit, like they say. That's the Rashit.
You got the shit there.
Like the real stuff, That's what we're talking about.
I got the bomb, got that shit in there.
So,
Got fired.
All right, so pardon my French there, but it's getting down here, We're going to hear the thing, because whenever you go to examine anything in this world, you need to understand you got to look at the original one. We have in Christianity and we have in the Muslim religion, they all point back to the Torah and they all say that it's the word of the living God. They all say that. They don't deny. And from there, then they proceed to add the little stories and says, plus our word is God too. So this, so they validate the original one, which the Torah itself says that it's complete. It doesn't need anything else. And it says that it's for all generations. Okay? So if they knew the Torah, they would not be adding anything else. You know what I'm saying? The Muslims nor the Christians will be adding anything else, but we're finding ways to point us back to the Torah, so we will fall in love with each one of his letters, 304,805 letters, and we will learn to memorize it and take it in, because that's the treasure for our soul. That's the owner's manual, okay? Now, that's the thing. So the thing is, so since they all say, since Christianity says that the Torah is the word of the living God, and the Muslims also say that, they don't deny that, they accredit it. So then we look at the Torah, right? Because, that they are acknowledging that. And they themselves should do that too, You should look at the Torah and see what the Torah says. Then if you read the whole Torah, you find out that the Torah doesn't want anything else to come after that, to say that it's it, that it's adding on to it, or it's complementing it, or anything like that, okay? Some of the writers of the Torah are basically two, all right? Supposed to be Moses, who got the dictation from God. God is the author speaking out. Moses is the first secretary. And it's believed that also Joshua wrote about the last couple of chapters of the book of Deuteronomy. So Joshua is involved in the writing as well, but only a few chapters at the end. But most of it is Moses, all right? So we have that indicated. And the word Moshe, I believe, comes from Mem, and the Shin, and the Ayin. That's where the word because Moises in Spanish or Moses in English was Moshe in Hebrew. And interesting that his name, Mem means solutions, Shin means adherence, or consuming, assimilating something, and the Ayin. Okay, so Moshe means the solutions of adherence to what he has observed. Because he was the one that was the witness, that was watching what God was giving him. He was writing it first on the tablets, and then he wrote it on the papyrus, And, okay, so hey, we have some food coming in right now. So I'm gonna take a little pause here. All right, so make sure that we checked on that. All right, so open up the. Okay, so this is from which one?
No problem. Go on over the chicken.
Salads? All right. Okay.
That's why you took long. You ordered two.
Yeah. I know the cook on this one. Yeah. All right. Good.
Oh, yeah, shit. Good.
So, the first portion came in from Versailles. That's the Cuban food. We ordered some famous chicken Versailles, and the other one is also known as chicken Versailles with all the other condiments here. So, we're going to put this down. All right. Put it in there.
Man, it's hotter than
Yeah, it's hotter than All right.
Since my bomb.
In a little while, then the people from Pollo Campero are going to come. So we have two places. Ordering here. So like I said, so when you go to the Torah, open it up and spread it out. You guys get it all ready. Don't worry about it.
So in that scenario, when we start, so we go to the Torah, we realize Moses, so his name, so we're looking at the name. Mem means solutions of waters, okay, and Shin is the front teeth, the functionality of the front teeth, so the letter Shin, is the front teeth are the functionality of adhering, of consuming and assimilating. And then the ayin is for the eye, the picture of the eye, to observe and to take in all the information that you're observing. So the solution of adhering, consuming, or assimilating the observations. So Moses was being a witness, to what God was showing and displaying everything about him. And he was writing it down. He was the secretary, of Yud Hevave. Okay, and Yud Hevave, which, because the Bible says not to take the name of the Lord our God in vain. And that's why a lot of the Jewish people do not mention the name Yud Hevave, But the word, when it says not to take the name of your God in vain, it's not saying not to speak it, by the way, okay? A lot of people interpret it that way. The word to take is to lift it up, to carry like a burden, Like when you go work for a company, or you represent a certain country, you become a citizen, then you carry, if you become an American citizen, you call yourself, you're carrying that name as an American citizen, but you have, and you have to say that you are an American citizen, but the idea is not to carry the representation, of something without knowing what it means. That's what it means, to lift up, like I say, I represent Toyota because I work for Toyota, so but you take that name because you represent that company. But if you don't know what you do in that company, then you're representing it in vain. You're taking that name in vain. That's the whole idea. Is you take something to represent who that company is, but you better know what it means. So it doesn't say not to say the name of God in vain. He says not to take it, not to hold it up, and not know what you're holding up. That's the whole idea, because it won't make any sense. You're working for a company, and you say, and you don't know what the company does. Then you take in the name of the company, you drag it through the mud because, you're misrepresenting the company. So the people that are called by my name, when you call because, you represent who he is, so that is not to take his representation without knowing his functionality. So what the Yud Hevave means, it has the Yud, the Hed, the Vav, and the He. The Yud is for the hand that works things. The He is for the little guy that moves the hand, and, that represents the breath. Represent animation and activation, and Vav is the hook or the nail that connects and hooks, and then the He again. So when you take all of that together, then the functionality of his name is the work of displaying or showing the connectedness of life. So once you know about that, then you're gonna that's what you're gonna do. Every time you speak, you are here to connect everything to everything that God has made and how he connects to everything in this world. So then you're not taking his name in vain, okay? Because you understand the meaning. That's the whole idea. So it doesn't say, thou shalt not take the name. That doesn't mean thou shalt not say, okay? But still, I honor that thing about the Jewish people because, since they don't know, they just don't want to say it. That means a lot of respect, in a way. But not understanding what it means, that they don't know the meaning still. Even if they don't know it, they should know it in their mind anyhow, and so they call him Hashem. And the word Hashem, you hear a lot of Jewish people say, Hashem just means the name. That's what the word Hashem means. It's just Ha means da, and Shem means the name. So they call him the name. Okay? So even the word name, Shem comes from Shen and Mem. It means adherence to solutions. That's why everybody should know the name of who you are, because you're supposed to represent some sort of solution. But if you don't know what you are, you don't know what solution to represent, you're not even in adherence to your own name. That's how you're lost. You see what I'm saying? That's why so you have to know. Even if you call him Hashem, what does Hashem means? Okay? It means the solutions, the adherence to solutions. So which solutions is he talking about? So that's why you go to the Torah, you understand the solutions of what he's trying to tell you. Okay? So that's why you substitute something and you're still, you call him the name out of respect, but still, you're not getting to the root of the situation. You're not getting to explain everything that what God wants you to, so you can stay in his mindset. But that's the whole idea of getting in the pictograph that I'm showing you, because you show the functionality. All creators want to make sure that the product works. So they teach you functionality. When you go to a company that makes car, they teach you the word car in all of its functionality. That means you learn all the meanings and definitions of what is connected to here, how this is connected to the thermostat, how this is connected to the radiator, how this is connected to everything, the alternator, how all these things are put together, and so you know the Yud He Vav He, the connections of everything that works. You are representing the whole name of God when you're learning all the connectedness of how something activates. You see what I'm saying? So that's the meaning of Yud He Vav He. So in everything that you have to go and show and reveal the connectedness of how things are put together so they can function, you are enjoying the name Yud He Vav He. So see, you got to be aware of His presence that way. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with knowing the meanings because that's how God wants you to enjoy Him. So then you know He's present in everything. You know, the whole idea of every work that reveals that. Every job that you go and they have to tell you, somebody comes and shows you, you know, okay, they take upon themselves the task, that's the job, of showing you that the hey, you know, how this connects to this, and how this is joined to this, so that you can make it work. That's Yud He Vav He. You see what I'm saying? So everybody that goes to work, and somebody has to show you how to do that, then that's Yud He Vav He. So the whole name of God is being enjoyed, and nobody connects to it, so nobody understands His presence in this world. He is the God that connects to all things that are activated. You see, and so that's why we go there to the Torah. So we go to the Torah, first of all, to learn the ALEFBET. And that was the fascination with David. You know, David has a whole book of 100, the largest chapter in the whole Bible and the largest song, Psalm 119. 176 verses long. You know, and what he did is, he took each letter of the Hebrew alphabet and he composed a song or a poem, you know, to each letter. 8 verses long for each one. 8 is the number of new beginnings. Because the letters of God are always for the new and restoring, for refreshing, keeping everything new as a new beginning. Okay? So anyhow, he took each letter, of the 20 letters, composed a song and a poem of 8 verses long for each one to 176 verses. And I started teaching you guys that last year in the month of Av, which is the month of the alphabet. That's the month of the Father. Without me knowing, by the way, when I started doing the fast to teach you that was the month of Ab. I learned later on that was the month of Ab. But I thought, wow, interesting. But in any case, but that's our inheritance, you know. And it says in the book of Jeremiah that that's our inheritance is the Father, the alphabet. And in Hebrew is where God calls Himself the ALEFBET, which means alphabet. And that makes so much sense to me when I understood that, because I understood the alphabet is the source and the founder of every word that has ever come, every word has ever come from the alphabet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they haven't used anything else but the alphabet. Okay? Or even the alphanumeric, you could call it, you know, with the numbers included. But the alphabet of the alphanumeric, you know, is the founder and the father of everything that man has ever created. And when the Torah uses that kind of language, you know, to identify that, it's just, you know, it's just beyond me, you know. I'm going to take a little time here to stop for a second. We're going to pray for the food so you guys can start digging in it because, you know, I'm just going to be talking, but you guys can start munching. Let's start munching spiritually and munching physically. There's no better pleasure. All right, let's pray. Okay. Our Father here, creator of all the earth, we give you thanks that we can come and see your Torah. We can come to take unto us the understanding so that we can be in your mindset, Lord. And we can see these things, you know, from your point of view and from your vantage point, so this world will not rob from us the true treasure of having us, you know, having your understanding in us and having us stay in your mindset, in the reshit of your wisdom, Lord, by which you created all things. We ask a blessing upon this meal that has been presented to us here. We give you thanks for it. We ask that you will nourish us by it. And we ask that you continue here with us, you know, as we bring glory to your precious and glorious name. For in the name of Yud He Vav He, who connects all things and keeps all things alive, we ask, amen. All right. So, you have to start munching. I don't want to hold you back on that. So,
this is mine.
Huh?
This one or this one?
Let me see how to do. This is, okay, open that one.
This one has the white rice, I believe, inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, okay. Did they bring the yellow rice and the other one? Okay, good, good. Yeah, leave the white rice for me, but you can use the. Okay, yeah. So leave this for me.
Okay.
But you take out the plantain though. You wanted that.
Oh yeah.
And then
Okay.
you can have the rest. This will be yours.
Okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
because I
Sounds
wanted the
great.
white rice.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
so I was
wanted.
like, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
mine?
Yeah. Yeah, but take out the plantain for me, then.
Yeah, they messed up.
Yeah. Yes, that's fine. And everything else, yeah, just get it from here now. You have that thing. So yeah, and there's yuca here too. You want some yuca? It's there. So they can get the plantain there, alright. Exactly. So you get the plantains out. Alright. Alright, so then. Okay, perfect. So you took a little break there to distribute the goods. Alright, platanitos fritos. Alright. Yeah, okay. So, alright, so as I was saying, we're talking about the, if you know the name, the meaning of the name, so you can express them so people can stay, because the whole idea of the Torah is to bring you into the intimacy of his mindset. Because you're going to enter the original job for which you were created. Okay? You and I were created for the job of revealing his mindset, revealing his character. So once you are into that situation, you are in the number one position for which the Torah was given. For that purpose, okay? And so we're talking about Moshe, which means the solutions of adhering to the observations. So he was the one watching, witnessing God, and was writing it down. So he gave us the Torah, and the Torah are the solutions of adhering to the observations that Moses observed, in seeing the word that what God was giving him, and how to connect them, and everything like that. Now, it is the job of all of us, because like I said, the second writer, which he wrote maybe the last 2 chapters of Deuteronomy, was Joshua. And Joshua just means salvation, because it comes from the word Yeshua, which appears, in I believe it's in the book of Exodus, when the Egyptian people were going against them, and they were about to take them, and God told them, that they were going to behold, the salvation of the Lord. And that meant that at that moment, the Red Sea opened up, right? And they were able to walk through the parting of the Red Sea. And I have explained before, when you understand red, and it's not really red in English because it's written in Hebrew, it's talking about the reeds, thus the plant from which the papyrus is made. The papyrus is made from it, and from this reed there's also the stick to write on the papyrus, because before the quill was the little stick that came from the papyrus, from the reed, also was made from it. And so it was the reed sea. The sea is waters or solutions. So it's the papyrus solutions. So God was making a big, you could say, when he made that miracle of the Red Sea, of parting the Red Sea and crossing in the Red Sea, and not calling it a salvation of the Lord, it was like a trailer to the Torah. You understand? It was like when somebody is doing the trailer part, and you hear all in the trailer. When you watch the trailer in the movie, you see all the action and all. You get all emotional. It's the big thing to get you to, so you can go see the main feature. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing, when God did the miracle of the papyrus solution, that's what I call it, because the parting of the Red Sea, he was teaching the children of Israel, whenever you open up the Torah, because the Torah is made in the papyrus, and he has the solutions to connect us to the mindset of God. So whenever you open up the Torah, that's how you're going to be complete to do my task. That's what completes you to do my job. That's the Yeshua. Because Yeshua means to make me complete and be made whole. Something is lacking. Because when you go to a company, the only thing that the owner of that company uses so that you can be complete with his mindset and make product and service that he wants, he gives you the manual. And when you open up the manual, you are completed in the mindset of that person that hires you to be able to do the product and service. That manual is what makes you, the only thing that was missing. The only missing piece that will complete you. So that's the word Yeshua. Behold, the salvation of the Lord. It says that trailer part was showing, behold, this is how I'm going to get everything that I want to do through the parting of the papyrus solution. which means the Red Sea. So that was the whole idea. So once you understand, because God doesn't want us to just be in love with the picture of the trailer. He wants us to be in love with the main feature. The main feature was the Torah. That little trailer of opening up the Red Sea was just so that we will understand, this is what I'm going to be using. So you understand? So that wasn't so that people use like the movie from the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston, looking good, doing the whole miracle scene. But that's the whole idea. It was just, that's a trailer to the main feature. The main feature, he was pointing to the papyrus solutions, which is the picture of the Torah. Every time you open it, you're looking at the face of God. Because the writings of any author, that is the face, the functionality of the face. Because the functionality of the face is to communicate and to reveal what's in your mindset. So once something is put in writing, that piece of paper is the panim of God, it's the face of God. And thou shalt have no other gods before my panim, before me. It means you're not going to put any other writings of anybody's face in front of it. You see, understand? So then you begin to see the functionality. And that's how we operate, okay? We're going back to things, we're going to see things from the point of view of the Torah. Because both religions, whether Muslim or Christianity, points us back to it, that is the original Word of God. So then we have to know the Word of God from the original one that came from, and see if there's any need, if the original one is telling us if there's any need to go after other Pesels, other faces to look at. Every other author that wrote something else. Because every other author that wrote something, you're looking at the face. And you're putting it in front of the face of the Torah. And thou shalt have no other face before the face of the Torah. You see? So then that has to be taken out. So when God says that, he's just saying that, hey, after I wrote this, don't put any other author in front of me. I don't want to see any other faces in front of me. I don't want to see authors like Matthew or whatever authors or John or anything else. Those are authors. Those are the face. Every writing of people have written is the face of the writer because it's communicating. So anything is not needed. So when that commandment is given, it's just as simple as that. That you have no other, another governing operations director, nobody else to guide you except what I've written in the Torah. Because in there, that's the ALEFBET, the alphabet in the sequence that I want you to look at it so you can connect directly with me and have no interference. I don't want any short circuits. I don't want nothing to interfere. It's direct contact. Look at my face directly and we're going to be looking eye to eye, You understand? That's going to be the Torah way. And everything like that is in the Bible. The big miracles is to point you to the Torah. Because the Torah is the tab, right? The first letter of the tab, which is the cross or the X. And that means like a contractual agreement, like a covenant, like a commitment, like a goal, like an objective. That's the first letter, which is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the tab. Okay? Which means the objective, the target, the goal, the contractual agreement, it all represents that functionality. Okay? Or the covenant, okay? The contractual agreement, the commitment. So, tab. Then, I told you that then is the vav for Torah, that's the vav for the U sound. And that means the connectedness or the hook. So the contractual agreement that hooks you up, that connects you, and then the resh, Torah, the resh is the head. The head is the thoughtfulness or the mindset. Okay? And then in the word Torah, in the sound of it, the aleph appears there. Not in the writing, but I like to put it in there because that gives a lot of emphasis. And the aleph stands for strength, power, or fortification. And then the last letter is hey, for the breath. To animate, to give life, to activate. So when you put together the word Torah, it just means the contractual agreement, was the tab, or the commitment, the contractual agreement, to hook you up, to connect you to the mindset, of the author, to the mindset of God, because he's the one that's the author of the giving operation director, for the empowerment of activation. For the empowerment of activation. So when you look at the word Torah, the meaning of the functionality of the letters means the contractual agreement that hooks you up and connects you to the mindset of the author, so that you do empowering activation for the company. So everybody that presents the manual to you, see that manual, that papyrus solutions, that thing that completes you to hook you up to the mindset, of the author of the product and service, that's what it does, So the Torah is the contractual agreement, because you're going to go to work for a company, you make a contractual agreement to connect to the same page, to be in the same page with your maker. And that's how you do it through the manual. You are in the same page with him then. That means we're thinking the same. We're thinking alike. And then what the owner wants you is to make sure that you have the capacity or the power to activate the product and service. See what I'm saying? So it makes the word Torah itself tells you of something that is done on a daily basis in every company, in every corporation in the world. Because they hire you for the contractual agreement. They hire you for Torah. They hire you for the contractual agreement to hook you up to their mindset so that you will empower activation to the products and services. So that's the word Torah. And so you are hired in every company to exercise the functionality of the word Torah. So I'm giving you the functionality and how it connects to the world. That's how the Torah needs to be preached. It's like it says in Isaiah 8:20, to the Torah, to the law, and to its testimony. To the Torah and to what each letter is saying. Okay? If they don't talk to you in this way, they are not illuminating you. They're not giving you any enlightenment. You are not connecting to the world. Everything is left in la la land in your mind. Everything is just, a Disneyland that you're entertaining in your own thoughts. Exactly. Not the joke, man. So that's the whole idea, It's Churchilandia. It's all this, all this stuff. That it's just a place just to be entertained. We sang songs. Oh, it's a small world after all.
A nice way to steal your money.
Or you go to the church and Jesus is all the world to me. And not a la la land, see? Because the Moshiach, should be all the whole world to you. The ALEFBET is the whole world to us. The Father is the whole world to us. The alphabet, the founder from which every word emerges is that. So when you go to call thing, it's a small world, it's a Churchilandia. Oh, Jesus is all the world to me. Oh, Churchilandia. Okay? The Moshiach is not supposed to be praised. He's not supposed to be elevated more than the Torah, more than everything like that. I'm giving it to you like it is. And that's what this whole group is about. By the way, you are 100% free to disagree with me. I'm not going to hate you for that. What you need to understand is what I'm saying is shaking you in your boots. Is making it so that, whatever doctrine or thing you hook on into, you're questioning it, then you got to see that's the problem that you have right there, Because I'm sure, but I understand, because I come from the same thing. I enter to the Word of God, to the Pesel of Christianity, but thank goodness I grew up. I was dissatisfied to the point that I wanted to know more meaning of connecting to the world in the here and now and enjoy my making here and now. And that's why I got into the Hebrew. And then into the Hebrew pictorial. Man, that's it. I've landed in the position where God wants me so that I can understand and can connect and I can preach these things to you that connect. Okay, so if you're only happy with you have to hold everything in your own thoughts, that's Churchilandia. And that's sadly to say that's what a lot of people have. It's just a Disneyland kind of thing, It's a small world after all. And it's just a projection of the big world that you have in you. So that's why we came back to the Torah. So the word Torah, you understand. So when you know the functionality, so I'm giving you functionality of the name Moshe, what it means. That's why he was the perfect writer, because even on his own name, it means that he was one that writing the solutions, that adhere, to the observations. And that's what he read, 630 connectedness to Yud He Vav that allows us to be in his mindset, and we understand why he is giving us all of that things. So that's basically what it comes down to, okay? So then you gotta understand that. So all of that is complete, like I said. So no more Pesel, no other face is needed before that. So the Torah is complete in and of itself, okay? And now, what you have to understand is, so once you understand that is somebody called me. Let me see one second. I think they called me from the. Hello.
Hello, hi, how are you? ¿Sechero?
Yeah, Secharías. ¿Es el pollo campero?
Sí.
Ajá. Where you guys at? ¿Dónde están?
Sí, pollo campero.
¿Sí? ¿Están afuera?
No, le estoy hablando aquí del restaurante.
Ok.
¿Es una orden, verdad?
Sí, hice una orden, sí. Ok.
Ok, mire, es que no recibimos la orden y el driver eran 5 flanes,
5 flanes, sí.
una ensalada campero asada
Ajá.
2 sándwiches
2 sándwiches, sí.
y un galón de mango, ¿verdad?
Y sí, un galón de mango, sí, es cierto.
Correcto, ok, mire, una de las muchachas me cometió un error y nomás le puso una empanada.
Ah, ok.
Pero yo sé que nosotros cometimos el error, no sé qué día pueda pasar y le voy a reemplazar toda la orden.
Ok. Entonces, ¿qué pasó?
Le va a llegar todo ahorita, lo único que no le van a llegar van a ser 3 empanadas.
Ok, entonces nada más van a mandar... solo una empanada mandaron, ya entendí.
Sí,
Ok.
4, nada más le mandaron una.
Ok, eso es lo único que hace falta, a todo lo demás sí lo mandaron.
Porque usted ordenó 4 empanadas.
Sí.
Nada más que desafortunadamente la muchacha se equivocó
Ok.
y nada más me puso una.
Sí, pero todo lo demás, los sándwiches, todo lo demás está ahí, ¿verdad? Solo las empanadas. Ok.
Sí, pero de igual manera, yo sé que fue culpa de nosotros y cualquier, no sé si un día pueda pasar aquí a un restaurante y yo le reemplazo la orden completa.
No sé cómo será, porque yo nunca salgo de mi casa, pero de todos modos, no se preocupe.
Yo sé que usted ordena frecuentemente.
Sí, nada más.
Mire, lo que voy a hacer la próxima vez, si vuelvo a ordenar, le voy a mandar cosas extras.
Está bien, gracias. Ok, la semana...
Nada más,
Ajá.
cuando vuelva a ordenar, llame al restaurante y pregunte por Martín.
Martín, ok pues.
Y ponga una notita y ya nada más para recordarme que es usted y yo le voy a mandar cosas extras ahí.
Ok, Martín, está bien, gracias. Ok, pues.
Disculpe la molestia, es que como tenemos personal nuevo,
Ajá, no se preocupe, está bien, ¿no?
me cometieron el error, pero y yo le voy a reemplazar
Ok,
la
Martín.
mayoría de las cosas cuando uno está en la
See when you're not followed, ALEFBET.
porque es frecuente.
Está bien, no se preocupe, no se preocupe, Martín, está bien.
Perfect example.
Muchas gracias,
Ok, pase feliz día, no se preocupe. Ok.
Hook the brother up.
Okay.
See when you don't follow the ALEFBET to the 100%. Look what happened. The father no got it in,
Well,
right?
example there, right? Like Brother Andy saying here, yeah, you messed up on the other bet, they're 3 empanadas short, man. Well, that's okay. They're bringing the rest of the stuff, all right? So you see, I'm preaching a way in which it connects. You got to preach not just sound, but signal. We got to be able to be people direction, because the whole idea is that God shows himself in everything that we're doing so that we can enjoy him in everything that we do. So that's why you can be at work and you are enjoying Yud Hevav if you can understand the meaning of his name. See, every time that you are there and you figure and you know the solutions, and then you show, because you can even train somebody, you show how things connect and you put them together so that they can function. You're enjoying the process of Yud Hevav, because God is not just a sound. He's a living. He's functional. When it says, and those days, it says in the book of Genesis, that's when men began to call upon the name of the Lord. Those are the word kera, which means they began to, from morning to, kera is the kuf, from morning to evening, that's when you go to work. They are in the mindset, the mindset of the name. The name, what does it mean? The adherence of solutions, So from morning to evening, they are in the mindset of adhering to the solutions of Yud Hevav, of the work of showing how things connect to be connected. So to call the name of the Lord is, from morning to evening, you go to work, and you adhere to the solutions for the name of the company. Is that they're going to adhere to solutions just to have a name of a company, and then you do the work of Yud Hevav. So when you understand that, my friends, you understand that it's not just saying, they began to call on the name of the Lord. That's just a sound in English. But each letter meaning that went to work from morning until evening, to be in the mindset, of adhering to the solutions of the work, of connecting, the work of revealing the connections of how to activate things. And that's the whole meaning of call on the name of the Lord. So then you understand, oh man, we do that every day, but nobody chose that. So we walk blindly at noontime. Even in lunchtime, we don't realize that all along we don't call the name of the Lord because we don't know the meanings of each letter. So all that is given so that you will enjoy the presence of your Maker because you know what you're doing. You're doing everything in His functionality. The whole world is set up to give glory to His presence. But when you don't understand the functionality of each letter, you're not connected, you're not walking with Him, and therefore you missed out on a lot of stuff. Okay, but I'm giving you a lot of the good treasure today to understand how to stay in His mindset, and just to incline you a little bit, if I could, to want to learn the alphabet from the pictorial, functional perspective, so that you will learn to enjoy your Maker 24/7, because that's the whole idea. You're surrounded by the functionality of His name, and you don't even see it. But once you know those things, then you see that, and you don't lose sight of Him. In the here and now, that's the whole idea. So that's the whole idea of the Torah, is to have you enjoy your Maker, understand His joy, because the God is all about how things function. And He has set His name in everything that we do.
DoorDash.
You know, you have to come.
Round 2.
Yeah, DoorDash is here now. Oh yeah, DoorDash is bringing the other stuff.
Yeah. Hey, you doing?
It's our way. All right.
All right, man. Here you go. You guys have a good one, man. You too, bro. Thank you. All right, thanks.
All right. Woo. Oh, okay.
Are you having some of this?
What is that?
The yucca?
Yeah, one has on that. And this is the mango, the 1 gallon thing of mango we ordered from there, and this is the stuff. This is the other stuff from
All for me?
All for him. Yeah, and yeah, we go put that in there. You have to drop it. All right, on the floor you want. Yeah. So we have the other pollo camperos came in right now. So yeah, we're going through the whole thing right now. All right. I was supposed to pause this, but you know, so you get to see everything that happens in between.
Uncut and uncensored.
Uncut and uncensored. Just like,
Raw.
that's raw footage.
Hopefully
Okay.
you like it, bro.
So, well, like I say, so
Uncut and uncensored, like the Torah.
yeah,
Watered down.
yeah, one sandwich to each one. I ordered the sandwich from from there. They had the sandwich, and also there was supposed to be 4 empanadas, but I'm sorry, so they only brought 1, so whoever wants that one can have it. And then the flans, they're supposed to bring 5 flans, because you know.
That chicken was good.
Yeah, the 5 flans for that. Alright. Alright. And it's working right. Okay, everything else is there, right? Then they bring
Empanada?
One.
yeah, 1 empanada, okay.
I don't want it. You can have it.
Okay. You can have it, Brian. That's all I want. And then the sandwiches. Okay, so then these are
Fries.
These are fries then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sell it.
Sell it.
I got for your mom. You can take it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just leave it in the bag.
Yeah, leave it in the bag for you. Because
I'm a teaser.
yeah, I mean, Rosa couldn't be here with us, but yeah.
We didn't want to.
We ordered her a regular salad if you like. So Annie can take it to her. Okay, so the rest of the condiments. So yeah, you guys got
Any
everything.
condiments in there?
Huh?
No, she don't eat the condiments.
You eating condiments? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those. I'm saying you want.
If you don't say anything, yeah, leave them here.
You can leave them here.
Yeah, leave them here.
Give her all the condiments.
If you don't say anything, then leave them here. We always have different things for different places, so we can use the condiment for someplace else.
This chicken was bomb.
All right.
Good choice.
You like that garlic? That's good, huh? You know, that's what made them famous. The garlic for salads. Boy, man. So yeah.
This was bomb.
All right. There you go. All the comments there. All right. So. So back to the program and back to the Torah here. So we're talking about why it's so important to to learn the Hebrew and its functionality, so that we can discover, how is that we're enjoying His name in everything that we do. Everything speaks of Him. You see, and that's the thing that David did. David wanted to enjoy the presence of God in everything that he did, and that's why he wrote so many songs, because he was inspired by it, And then just God saw that what he did. That's why he said, out of his lineage, the Messiah was going to come, and that's Moshiach. Okay. Now, when you hear the word Moshiach, okay, so, but before we get into Moshiach, let me explain something. So, in the Torah, is God, the Father is called Ab, ALEFBET, which translated in any other language is alphabet. So he calls himself Ab, which means the ALEFBET. You put together the Aleph and the Bet, and Aleph means just the head of the ox, which stands for strength, power, fortification, and Bet, it's just a picture of a little house In the pictograph, which stands for to be inside something, inside a compartment, or it stands for family, or it stands for house. So, ALEFBET just means a strong house, a strong family, strong compartment. So if you have a strong house, a strong family, then you are qualified to be a father, okay? So that means you have to have a family of your own, you have to have a strong house for them, a house that is full of their needs for them to, So you have what is that?
I'm putting this back in the box.
Oh, got you guys. All right.
Just keep in the box, that's fine.
Yeah.
You only have there's only 3 left. You're kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's about the only thing I can eat out of the other one, so that's why I tell you I'll have that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So then, okay. So making sure that everything is put in the right order there. So what's the last thing I was saying? Okay. So the ALEFBET of the father, that's how I'm explaining the meaning of that. So strong family, strong house, all of that represents the father. Because it's not just the name. In Hebrew, it's not just to have the name of something and not to be able to produce what comes with that name. That means if you take the name of a father, you're going to be able to produce a strong house and produce a strong family. That's what derives from the name. That's the definition of it. It's not just the name, okay? Now we have other religions that just take the name of father and then they produce a strong family. They don't produce a strong house. As a matter of fact, some other people have to pay for them to have a strong house, and so they can have the title of fathers. I'm talking about the Catholic Church. That they have fathers, mothers, all this, just because you go, like Mother Teresa. He went and she did all kinds of work of kindness on the streets of Calcutta, pick up the people that were dying, and they gave her the name of Mother Teresa, okay? But she didn't want to, get to have children of her own or anything like that, because that's what a real saint to me is the woman that stays with a child, sleepless night, and the child is just crying there. And millions upon millions of women that have gone through that in raising a kid so that they will be part of humanity and collaborate, with the rest of the humanity that comes. And leaders of the world, all kinds of things have been taken care of by mothers that way. Those are saints to me. I will not devalue what a real mother does and give it to somebody that never had a kid of their own. Okay? Because that's robbery, according to the Torah. But that's how things happen. You begin to give the value. Do not relinquish the value that God has given you by manifesting who He is to give it to somebody that just uses the name. Because that's how the external things take value and they rob it from what's inside of you. Okay, so one of the reasons I should have said that at the beginning, because the title of my beginning, because what I made into this is stop relinquishing the great esteem and value of your internal worth to your external world. Okay? This whole world out here is yours, my friends, because it's being held and put together by the manpower that is inside of you, which is the ALEFBET. The ALEFBET makes you understand things, it makes you comprehend things, it makes you run it through your mind and everything, and it makes you work it so that you can bring it into this world. All the products and services that has ever come into this external world are because of the ALEFBET, which is the Father that worketh in you, and it takes all the things from the manuals of all the companies in the world, it runs it through the understanding of your mind, and you put it together, and then it brings out the product and service. So every single product, every single item that's ever been manifested in this world, from every stone that was placed on the pyramids to everything else that's been done, to whatever thing that has been sent to space, everything has come because it has gone through the ALEFBET that is inside every soul, and that soul has hatched that product and service, like the golden goose is, producing those valuables for that company, and that's how everything has come. So there's an internal worth in you, in that you are the carrier. You and I are the carrier of the ALEFBET, the original doer, maker, and shaker of everything in the world. He is the only mover and shaker, you understand? He's the only one that makes things, the ALEFBET that is inside of us. And what happens is that things outside of the world take on the name of the ALEFBET, and they want to have the value of the ALEFBET given to them as if our whole existence depends on it. And that's how the robbery comes into place. But the thing is, no matter what they want to do to project it outside of you and to have it outside of you, that ain't never going to happen. Because the thing all you need is to open your eyes. For example, I want to give you the example of what I'm holding here right now. This is something we're all familiar with. Most of you look at it 24/7 a day, right? So very much familiar with nothing. I even have to say the name. You know what I'm talking about, because this is the idol everybody worships to. They're praying to it. In a prayer position every day. Mumbling and meditating, This book of the law, this book of this book shall not depart out of my mouth. I'm meditating every day. This is naturally you do it. This has become your Bible. The page that you look at every day. This is the panim by which you're controlled. All right? But let me tell you something. Here, interesting thing. The first part is made out of glass. Okay? Now you know where glass comes from? Remember? Glass comes from dust. From sand. Dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou return. It's dust that has been heated. In a heat that is, stronger than lava heat. And out of this thing, they once it's heated, so they take dust and they put it through hell, and when it goes through hell, then it becomes glass. So dust thou art, and dust unto dust shalt thou return. So mankind has gone through all kinds of hell to be able to manufacture the manpower of hell lame economy that we have right now. Okay, so at the end, we're looking at the glass here, which is nothing but heated sand, dust. Okay, and then this heated sand, then we punch whatever we want, to get to the icons, whatever you're looking at, the different icons that you have in there. Let me see if I can choose the icons here. Yeah, and then you get to choose one of the icons, whatever they represent, and you open up to another window and you get to choose whatever you want to do in there. But all those little things that you say, from the icons to everything that opens up in your window, that's not the real thing. Okay? The real thing is the software inside this little thing, and sometimes even hooked up Wi-Fi, that is opening up these things. Okay, so there's a code. So people may look at the image, but those that are the programmers, they are looking at the code. So if somebody has programmed these icons, and you are one of the consumers says, I don't like how this icon looks. Can we make it look this way? The one that is the programmer is looking at the source code when you're telling him that, and he's seeing in the source code what needs to be changed so he can make it look that way. You are not the programmer, so you're only looking at the icon, and you just want to say how you want it to look like, but that's all. You only know the image externally, but the programmer looking at the source code, and because he knows the source code, he can make the change happen. So he goes to the program, he makes the change, and then he sends it back to the screen, and then voila, it looks the way you want it to. But it is the source code. So behind everything that you see in your phone is the ALEFBET. Or in the case of our technology, it's the 1 and 0, because it's digital. It's 1 and 0s. That is manipulated. The 1 and 0s are manipulated. They create the source code and everything and digitalize it to become 1 and 0s in here. And translatable to that. So he's looking at the source code. So that's the whole idea. So behind everything that's been made, there's a source code. There's a manual. And we take those manuals. Every human being upon this earth, we participate in this thing. And everything that you see out there, from every car, the consumer only looks at the car and how nice it looks. But the one that works in the company knows exactly how to put it together and how to change the design here and there so it will look at different ways if he wants to. So if you want the car to look different, you go to the car manufacturing and you tell the one with the source code, the manual, well, how to make the car, how you want it to look, and they make the changes. Because everything comes down to the source code, to the original alphabet, that runs everything. So everything behind every product, don't be fooled. It's just a manifestation of the alphabet for that product. Everything has their own order of the alphabet that designed it. So that's what we have. It's just different orders of the alphabet are everywhere, running everything. That's all you have. At the end of the day, that's all you have. Okay? So, and it's because it's inside of us, and we are the ones capable of bringing it out there, that all this economy is projected. But inside of us is the real car. Inside of us is the real building. Inside of us is the real part. Because everything is designed, from blueprints, from schematics, from manuals, from menus, from programs. Everything is designed from a certain order of the alphabet. I mean, can you deny that? Because I'm just teaching you something that is applicable for the here and now. That's how everything is made. And so, behold, the great treasure. That's your internal word, my friend. My internal word comes from the ALEFBET that can work wonders in me and can project economies galore all over the world. I don't care if it's in India. I don't care if it's in Dubai. I don't care whatever it is. It's just a projection. All the souls are projecting all the ideas of the ALEFBET that have been internalized in us by the different companies, and we're here to project everything. And so it is the ALEFBET in us, the strong house that sustains all the economies. That is the source from which all the economies, that exist in the world, the mule, I call the mule because they need us to be propagated, because they're not like the organic garden, all the organic plants and the insects, they're not looking for us to exist. They have their own power of their own DNA, which has their own code from the alphabet given to them so they can be, self-propagating or self-duplicating. But everything else that comes from the mule, I call it the mule, because you understand the mule cannot propagate after it's made. So it needs the power of man, needs the manpower of hell lame economy, because they cannot do the FMR, fruits multiply and replenish. So every mule, every manpower of hell lame economy is projected by us. So at the end of the day, who gets the credit? The ALEFBET that is in us. Because it's the one that's been doing it from day one. From the day of the pyramids up until now. It's always been like that. Okay? So now what will happen is, we're coming to the time in which everything now that we have been put in front of the dust, that's been gone through hell, and everything is being controlled by this, by the way. Everybody controls everything like this. They want it, so now they want the ALEFBET. Close to the ALEFBET, right? Bet is called electronic Bitcoin. Because that's what they're moving during the Great Reset right now. They want to put everything behind the screen. So nothing will be backed up by gold. Nothing will be backed up by silver. Nothing will be backed up by petrol. But they call it data harvesting. Everything is backed up by your own habits. Because this thing that you use, you have imprinted in there. You have tell them exactly what your likes and dislikes are. And so your own information as a consumer has become the backing up treasure for this ALEFBET. That will be your own information. That's data harvesting for your own habits and information. Because out of your own habits and information, they can predict what the things are your likes, and so they send you the right kinds of things. So you will purchase this product, this service, so they can sell, they can prophesy to a seller, how many people are going to buy from him, because they know the habits of the people that they're sending their commercials to. And so they can guarantee great returns that way. So it's a whole thing that is being like that. So we who've been left in wantonness, or just wanting the products and services of this external world, because we're so fascinated by it, don't realize that we are the goal behind it. We are the petrol behind it. We are the ones giving value, to this ALEFBET, and this ALEFBET is going to be this called cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. The word crypto means hidden, okay? Because it's hidden behind a program, behind software and stuff like that. And the cryptocurrency just means they have figured a way that is transparent, so everybody will know what your money. Once you use your money, once you cannot use it again, so they can keep control, of all the money. Because if you had $100, you keep using it over again, that what you point. So just to control that once you spend it, you cannot spend it again. Somebody else gets to spend it. Just like it's in this world. Once your $100 leaves your pocket, only the person that got $100 can spend it. You cannot have it anymore. So that's the same idea, so they can keep it. But crypto is hidden currency, because it's hidden in a software, in a network of software. It's just hidden in a program. It's a code. It's a word. Okay? But we have a hidden currency, that enables us. What's the currency that we use? Currency is something that circulates within you. That's what the word currency means. The currency that circulates in us, and that's what the currency is going to be in these computers. It's just all this data circulating in all of these networks. Okay? It's the ALEFBET. That's the word that circulates in us and enables us to put ideas and thoughts together so that we can animate the products and service. The ALEFBET is our currency of greatest value. That is, enables us to put thoughts and concepts and ideas together, and it's because it's able to circulate in our minds and in our understanding that we can make the mule. The manpower of hell economy, that we can sustain the mule, that we can project the mule, that we can bring all their ideas, the General Electric says we bring good things to life. You're lying. The ALEFBET that is in us brings good things to life. All the products come from the ALEFBET in us, not from General Electric. They guys just robbed the title that belongs to the ALEFBET. All along, it's the ALEFBET in us that doeth all the work. That's why the ALEFBET, who is the father of all, he had always done it. All right? So all these things that are coming right now, this is the greatest robbery that is about to happen. That they want us to give to this, to relinquish what we are. We are the ones, our internal worth is the ALEFBET. They want us to give all the credit to the fact that the ALEFBET in us has done everything, making houses, making cars, all has been done by the ALEFBET in us, and they want us to give that homage, pay allegiance to that, to the ALEFBET that's going to be behind the screen, that's going to say, all your life is worth this, is what the ALEFBET is telling you, the digital, all these numbers. This is how much you earn, this is how much you have for your retirement, all of that. So that the whole life is depending upon numbers outside of you, making you think, my life is all, that's what my life is. So I got to find ways to get more of that ALEFBET. Because the power is, the ALEFBET is going to be everything to guide you. So the whole thing is to rob, from the ALEFBET in you, which is the only one that gets all homage, is the only one that gets all power, and give it to something else that has nothing to do but smoke and mirrors. Projecting outside of yourself. And that's why it's good to be in the Torah and its functionality, because you won't bow down to that. You're not going to look at things from the point of view, and all they're telling you are lies. But it begins with those that rob from God the title of Father to begin with. So it begins with the religions. Those are like, and then it breaks down, to the worst thing that we have right now. That anybody can do really bad things, and they just call themselves philanthropists, and then they get away with it. You're talking about Bill Gates, George Soros. They just put themselves the title of philanthropist, that means lover of mankind. Who is the lover of mankind? The ALEFBET is the lover of mankind.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg. All these billionaires, they all like to just put the cloak of, I'm a philanthropist. I created my own foundation, and I give money to myself. But it makes me look good, so you better respect me. I love humanity. I love mankind. Don't they just take the title of loving mankind because that philanthropy means to love mankind. But they don't love it. But they took the title, and now, it's because they started with the fathers, that take the name of the father, and then you have to make a monastery for them. You got to make a cathedral for them. You got to pay homage to them, and you got to kiss their hand as if they're real fathers, So that's where everything starts, and then it breaks down to all these people imitating them. And then we have the worst of humanity right now, where we are with about 5 elites, that are running, the Rockefeller, the Roosevelt, all these people that are running everything, and all of them are philanthropists, by the way, They all love this title, So when they're looking bad, that's when they came up. Like in 2000, when Bill Gates was, being sued and everything for all the stuff that he was doing with things, then to clear his name, then he took on his name of philanthropist. That's he did his whole PR from that. He got get way more money now with that title than anything else.
Created the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yeah, the foundations, all of them do that. But the thing is just to give the money away to themselves. Because it's their own and this is an amazing thing. And the world buys that. But that's why did the world buy that? Because they bought it from their fathers that are not fathers. From religions that promote more, the fact that if you take a vow of celibacy, which is against the Torah, The Torah does not recommend anywhere to say that a good rabbi needs to take a vow of celibacy. You cannot be a rabbi without having a wife first. Okay, so there's not such thing, because a vow of celibacy means to go against the Torah, to go against the FMR. You know, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish the earth. God is not going to go against His word.
So Jesus was not a Messiah.
Huh? Exactly. That makes him But for what? In many ways, he's not a Messiah because he's not a rabbi to begin with. But therefore, he took on the title of a Messiah, and now I'm getting to the word Messiah, Moshiach. Yeah, go for it, man. There's water there. Moshiach. Yeah, there's water there. There's some. Yeah, I think this is some water. I don't know. This might be some so cold ones in the refrigerator in the bottom. Look at the refrigerator in the bottom. See, this and there. Yeah. So, but okay, let's take the word Mashiach now. The meaning of that, because look, it has two letters that they share. Mashiach shares two letters that Moshe, which is Moses. Moshe has the Mem and the Shin, and then has the I, right? So Mashiach shares the Mem and the Shin. The first two letters of Moshe are shared by the word Mashiach. Okay? But the word Mashiach, the meaning of it is anointed. The whole idea is to take the oil, like the olive oil was the one used. You take it out either in a horn and pour it on a king. I believe that David, it was poured out of a horn. And the horn means power, by the way, because the horn of the
The scepter.
yeah, so the horn, so it was poured out a horn into his head, and also I believe his son Solomon, also, and then but it just means the oil. But the Ark of the Covenant was anointed. The priests were anointed. It just means they were dedicated for the work of the Torah. For the work of Yud He Vav He, for the work of this representation. Okay, so it doesn't mean that. And 39 times the word anointed appears in the Tanakh. So 39 times. They're not all necessarily appearing in each book once. It's 39 times total. But in your regular Christian Bible, you find that it's 39 books. In the Old Testament and 27 books in the New Testament. It's interesting thing that 39 times and the word anointed appeared as 39 books. So I like to think of it like those 39 books were anointed. The other 27, the New Testament. This is
Commentary.
there's like just a Pesel, that just an entertaining churchilandia. That's all there is. Yeah. Not even commentary. Commentary, would be everything else like the prophets. The prophets. Because the Tanakh means it has the Torah, it has the Nevi'im. Tanakh means the Torah, Nevi'im are the prophets, and the Ketuvim are the writings. Okay, so in the Tanakh is the Torah, which is the father of all, and the prophets are the ones, the Nevi'im, the ones that spoke, and went to call the people back to the way of the Torah whenever they deviated and wandered off. And the Ketuvim are the writings. Okay, and the writings will include things like Psalms. The Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes, the Song of Solomon. I think it will include also the Chronicles, Kings, and But then you understand. So this is the thing. So everything is. So those are the commentaries there. Like the book of Proverbs will be a commentary on the Torah. The book of Ecclesiastes will be a commentary on the Torah. The work of songs will be songs and praises. About the Torah, and then the Nebi'im, which is, the prophets, the NBA, the Nebi'im are the prophets, and those are the ones that were used by God, and there's about 1.2 million of them, but only a certain amount of them were kept because they refer to the Mashiach. That's why they put them they compiled them as the Tanakh. Because they have some reference to the Mashiach. So that's why they were left in there, okay? But the word Mashiach now, let's take it back. So Moshe, like I say, has Mem, has Shin, and an Ayin, okay? Moshiach has Mem and Shin, so share those two. So the solutions to adhere, but then the Mashiach, now you have the Het. The share is at the end. Okay, so the solutions. Okay, then he has the Yud. Okay, That's the little hand that stands like this with the fingers in the pictograph. And it's a little thing like that in the modern Hebrew. But the Yud is the hand that stands for work. So there's Moshiach. So it's the Mem, the Shin, the Yud, and the Het. The Het is the fence. Okay? The fence is like something to protect. A fence, you build a fence to protect or safeguard something and protect it from anything happens. So the whole idea of Moshiach then it means the strong, the solution, because solution, Mem, solutions to adhere, and the hand means work, right? To adhere to the work of truth and justice, or truth and fairness. Because the work of his hand, because this little Jude represents a hand like that, with, an arm with a hand, that's work of his hands. And the writing is a work of somebody's hand. Okay? But you go to Psalm 111, verse 7, and it tells you, these are the work of his hands. Verity and justice. And all his commandments are true. So the whole thing talks about verity or truth and justice, or truth or fairness, and the mitzvot are the work of his hands. Because that's the things that God left us for us. So you understand, and that's what you do. So the thing is the Moshiach. So understand the word Moshiach. So you understand the functionality, what it's supposed to do. The Moshiach is supposed to present the solutions of how to adhere. It means to stick to something. To adhere to what? To adhere to what? To the work of his hands, which means the truth and what is fair, and that I do adhere by that. And then the word, the Het, it stands for securely set aside and safely guarded, because that's the function of a fence, to securely set you aside and to safely guard you, because that's the word function of a fence. So what does all of that mean? So the Mashiach is supposed to present solutions for all of us, so that we will adhere, we will attach ourselves, to the work of truth and fairness, and we will keep that securely set aside and safely guarded. So what does that mean? We become the patent office, because that's what a patent office does. All the creators of a product or service, they take it to a patent office. And what does that patent office does? It keeps the work of your brain, the work of your hands, the things that you wrote down, your instructions. It keeps those things, the work of your hands. You are a creator, a patent office keeps it set aside and secure and safely guarded. Isn't that what a patent office does? You see, that's what they do. And so that's why they hire the services of, because that keeps them exclusive. That gives them the power of exclusivity. And when you're exclusive, you have value for your product and service. And so the whole idea of what the Mashiach has to do is supposed to take the Torah, which is the writings of God that he dictated to Moshe. So he's to bring the solutions for us to adhere to the work of the Torah, to the work of the manual that he wrote to represent his expression of himself. And that then what we do, we become that patent office. We securely set it aside and we safely guard it. Then we have all those things in us so that we are sure to project that. And this teaching that I'm giving you, is what is done for every company to make sure, that the product and service is rendered. Because they make sure that it's done in the patent office. The patent office is there because it offers the strong solutions for the whole world to adhere, to the work of the hands of the manual, the truth and how things work. And that thing is safely securely set aside and safely guarded. So the whole idea of taking something, for any owner that comes with something, the whole idea of taking it, first of all, to the patent office is to do the work of the Mashiach. That's the word Mashiach in working, in functionality. So they take it to the patent office because that's what a Mashiach does. He provides solutions to adhere to the work of truth and veracity and judgment, and to be securely set aside and safely guarded. Okay? So what the Mashiach is supposed to do, that's supposed to appear, is to teach us that. He will have the ability, what David does, of composing songs, of making you fall in love with the Torah, making you see the functionality behind things, So that then you will cherish the idea, man, that's it. That's my passcode to the mindset of God. 304,805. Can't wait to just get into it, you know? Like, that's the way I'm so enthused about. I'm dedicating this whole decade to have it memorized back and forth in the Hebrew, you know? That's my goal for me, this, you know, in this decade. That's what I'm working at, you know? Because that's my whole goal. I found the passcode, and I'm going to memorize it back and forth. So by the end of this decade, that's what my goal is. Because I know that's it. I'm just scratching the surface and see how much understanding I have. I don't even speak it. I will murder the Hebrew if I try to speak it. But I know, you know, the functionality behind each letter. And because I do that, and because I am in that, that's why I connect. I can connect here, you know. Like a lot of people that do programming, that programming is used for all the languages, by the way. You know, and all the people that are in all countries, Philippines and everything, they learn the codes from here. They learn the C language, they learn, you know, all the code, because it becomes like a language that is international for everywhere. So that's how I look at it. I say, hey, I know the function, I know the word, I'm learning the Hebrew in its functionality, not just phonetics. Because that's why you lost, when you lose it, it's just in the phonetics. When you know the sound of a thing, but you don't know the meaning of definition, then you're just a consumer of it. But that's the whole idea. So the job of the Mashiach then is supposed to bring solutions, you know, for us to adhere, you know, to the work of God's hand, the Torah, you know, and then so that we can securely set it aside within us and safely guard it. So we become that patent office. And at the end of the day, in this world, by the way, when they go to the patent office, those big buildings that they hold the intellectual property of people, that is just a projection, by the way. Okay? You understand? That is not the real, how can I tell you? It's not, they don't do that. They call themselves patent office, and patent comes from the Latin word pater, which means to be a father, you know. So they do the office, just the work of the Father. So then again, they are just like the Catholic Church. They just have the name of it, but they don't do it. Because what does a father do? A father and mother really bring the child to birth, and then they take care of that child. Okay? So if they did the office, the work of a parent, because the word pater means to be a parent, if they did the work of the office, all the patent office, the moment you took the product there to be guarded by them, they will have some magical portal in which they will put this in your manual in the safe, and then this portal will be producing all your products. You didn't have to hire nobody, you understand? But that doesn't happen. The patent office just puts it in a little safe, and then you have to go and hire the people that have the real ALEFBET, which is in us, and that ALEFBET has to take that idea because he has to give that manual, and then the ALEFBET that is in us, who knows the mom and dad of a wholesome word, because the mom and dad of a wholesome word is meaning and definition that allows the word to produce and bring birth to a product and service. That's the real father that does the real parenting. So the patent office is just like the fathers in the Catholic Church. They just have a facade that we do the work of parenting, but no, this is just the name. We're taking that title away from every worker that is really doing the work of parenting, you know, so they'll never know that they're the ones doing it, and we're always going to get the credit. So you see how the lie is represented? But the ALEFBET that is in you is what makes you, you know, when you know the meanings and definition, the wholesome word is a real parent, and it gives birth to a child. That child will be a product and a service, and you will learn how to maintain. You will be the guarantee by which this product and service will be sent on the market, because you will know how to renew it again. And that's how the treasure all along has always been the ALEFBET. So that's why in this message is, stop relinquishing, or that means giving or yielding the, you know, great esteem and value of your internal worth. Your internal worth comes from your Father, from the ALEFBET. He has their own. He's the one that doeth all the work. And to your external. So you give it to the external world what you have inside of you. Why do that stupid thing? Why be so stupid? And that's why the whole world is taking advantage of you. Stupid people. Yeah, that's what they are. You know, but that's why it says when you walk away from the Torah in chapter 28, you will be given over to what I call the MBA that runs this world. You know, that's an MBA title everybody wants to the master of business administration, something like that. Master of business administration, you know. But actually, there's I believe it's in 28:28. I believe it's Deuteronomy 28:28. It says, "I will give them over, you know, to madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart." Madness just means crazy. They're going to do, because the idea of taking the value that you have in the ALEFBET that does everything, and to give it to the ALEFBET, and to give it to the patent office, and to give it to a father in a church that doesn't do anything, that's madness! That's craziness! Wake up! That's loony! You're a jerk, you're stupid! But madness, blindness, I mean, you're not looking at what you see. You know, they put the wool over your eye and you're sick. You went on a ride. You know, and astonishment how you're easily made afraid that, oh, I'm going to lose this thing, I'm going to lose that. That's why it says in Isaiah chapter 40, which I had told at the beginning, at the end, there's all the nations before him are as nothing. And he talks about the man is as, all flesh is as grass, and all the goodliness of the grass is just at the flower of the field that it fades away. So all flesh is as grass, and all and all the flower of the field, you know, and all his goodness is like a flower of the field that fades away. So all flesh is as grass, and all. But the word of God, the word of your real reality, who you are, that stands forever. Okay, and that's what we take comfort in, because the ALEFBET is not dying. And as long as we're in the Torah, we are in his mindset, we can project his character and the way he cares for words, and he holds on to definitions and meanings, and therefore we're having a fellowship with him, we're working his functionality, we understand that, and nobody can take that away from us, okay? And that's the whole idea. We're understanding everything, so if the word Mashiach is not being fulfilled, because that's exactly what the Mashiach is supposed to be done. So when you examine that, so you come to the New Testament, and then you say, is the Mashiach supposed to take the place of the Torah? No. Because you know that from the Torah. That's not his job. You know, so whenever somebody presents himself in the New Testament, that he is the Torah that came down from heaven and became flesh, lie. The Mashiach is not supposed to do that. He's not supposed to take the reverence that belongs to the Torah and give it to himself. Because the Torah is the mindset of God that came down through the observations of Moses that were written down. So this mindset will stay here upon the earth all this time. And it has been here. Okay? And that's why, so he gave it to you so that you can do it, he says, you know. So you can do it. So and these are 630 mitzvot of how to take care of your fellow man, how to take care of your environment, how to take care of animals, how to respect your father, how to respect your mother, you know, how to respect the manual of the lawgiver, how to respect all these things. So there'll be plenty of harmony. So at the end of the day, what are you getting out of it? You know, it seems like you're just doing things to take care of the name of God. You know, thou shalt have no other God before me. Thou shalt not create every graven image. You know, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. You know, thou shalt keep the Sabbath day holy, the day of rest. It will be a very special day. Thou shalt take care of your father and mother. You know, it says, you know, thou shalt not kill. You know, make sure that you keep your neighbor alive. Thou shalt not commit adultery. That means be faithful to your spouse. Thou shalt not steal. Don't take anything away from your neighbor. You know, thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not bring false testimony. Don't say anything bad about your neighbor that is not true. If it's true, yes, you know, let him have it. But if not, you know, don't say anything that you're not supposed to. You know, and thou shalt not covet your neighbor. So everything is about taking care of your neighbor. What am I going to get out of this? You know, hey, you getting the ALEFBET in you. You're getting the Father in you flowing out of you to take care of everybody. Because your Father doesn't need anything. He brags about himself when he's taking care of everybody. That's our connection. That we can take care. We are in his mindset. That's our fellowship. And that's how it's with the whole 630 mitzvot. God wants to understand. Never forget that I am. The ALEFBET in you doeth all the work. Don't ever sit still and know that I am Elohim. Sit still and recognize. Just sit back and watch me do all the work. You don't take any credit for what he's doing. He's the one that coordinates, that give you motor skills and prepares your body and everything. He's the one doing all the work. That's what you get is you have his fellowship. And the 613 missed butts, what are you getting? You're getting him to get all the credit as he flows out of you. You are completely submerged in all that he's doing. And you're in complete and all everything that's going on. That is our heritage. That is the heritage of every plant. That's being given the RNA, which is another way of ordering the ALEFBET. Every plant, every blade of grass, every flower that is born, they're just showing you little things of what the ALEFBET is doing in them that was given in their RNA that was implanted. The cell in us, when it duplicates and takes the DNA to another sequence, it's all showing you. That's the fellowship of the ALEFBET that was given. I'm going to continue year after year, month after month, because that's the fellowship that all living things have. We don't require anything from this world. We do not abandon the mindset of God. We are in the Rashid and in the wisdom of God. And that's what a Messiah is supposed to do. To make you fall in love with your Maker. To make you adhere to His Torah. So you need no other passcode to come in the way. You're only going to adhere to those 304,805 letters of the sequence of the alphabet. And stay within it and never deviate from it. All right? So that's what we get, my friends. That's the joy of being in the Torah, and abiding in the Word, and having our inheritance in the Father. And nothing else is needed. Therefore, when you are like that, there's nothing else. That means that's what is Yud-Heh-Vav is the Lord of the here and now. You understand? And that's when you understand that's the only reality there is, is the fact that everything is held together by the alphabet that knows the meanings and definitions of everything, and by working it within us, is able to project all these things into the world. So everything out in the world is only a projection on the screen of the dust. But the divinity is within us. Every word is divine. Every wholesome word is divine, because every word that can make and generate and produce a product or a service, give birth to a product or a service, works in the capacity of a God. Works in the capacity of divinity. So all words were given to us. We were made for the divine nurturing, because that's all God does. He has the words full with the mom and dad, with all meanings and definition, and therefore He's out to make a child, take care of it, renew it, restore it. That's divine nurturing. Okay? But since we didn't listen to Him, we fell for the dirt nap. The dirt nap is an old way of gangsters saying you're going down to the grave, man. You're going to get a shot and you're going to go down to the dirt nap. So He became dust. He's laying on the dust. All the things that is moved by the dust, so He can be a shiny dust in the sense that He goes through hell when He goes here, and then you become glass, you become transparent, you become shiny. With glass, you can make marbles, you can make all these little things, that look shiny and they keep you entertained. All this building that you see with glasses, it's nothing but dust. Everything is dust. Dust thou art, and the dust shall not return. The dust is all over the place, my friends. No matter how shiny it is, it came from dust.
Glass cathedral.
And so at the end of the day, all we have is mockery. God is the maker, and we are the mocker. A mocker is the one that just imitates you. Okay? So there's the magnificent maker who is the alphabet, and now what we have is the mocking mirror, which is the ALEFBET. The ALEFBET is trying to get all the credit, trying to be the coin, the currency, the crypto, the hidden currency, when our hidden currency is the ALEFBET that is in us. Now everything is being imitated in the outside world. Behind, this glass is going to be a hidden currency, a software made out of letters. Our hidden currency is made out of letters too, but it's the one that does everything, But this one is just to take the credit, to believe that your money and the worth of who you are is going to be here being told to you by the little numbers.
Oh, it's going to have an expiration date.
I know that, yeah, because, of course, the thing is, but if you understand your Maker, you understand this, nobody can take it away that from you, because that's the joy that will remain with you forever. All right, so that's it, my friends. So, I think it's getting, it's losing out, it's getting blurry, so I think the battery is getting weak. So I'm going to close with this, and I hope, those that can take it, take it. If you don't like it, you don't have to,
Yeah, just got rape killed.
But I'm not, I'm not paid by anybody. My sponsor is the ALEFBET. He's the one that keeps me alive. He's the one that keeps me healthy. And whatever He gives me to understand, I want to present it to you. Okay, so I hope those that are ready to receive it will receive it. The rest of you, when your proper time comes, that's when you will receive it. But have a good day. Bye-bye. of the variance. So as you can see, that's the message right there. It's a pleasure to share that with you. That's the experience that we had today. But like I keep saying, let me put the title at the beginning because this is a truism. Says, yield not your inner worth. Because what you and I were made for was to inherit the alphabet. That's why we're like a compiler. We can take in the software, the mindset, and words. And that is our first heritage, the Word of God. The Word was given by Adam. That was our first heritage. That was supposed to be in us, the ALEFBET. Because, each one of us inherits the alphabet, and we use it to design all kinds of things in the mule. The manpower of hell name economy. We make cars, and we work in a car factory. We make computers. So we get the order of them. We become parents to computers. We become parents to whatever product that we create. Okay, so that's just, that's how it is. Okay, so we get the alphabet and we get the definition and the order of it to be a parent to whatever product has been made by that alphabet. But the Torah is the alphabet that takes care of the attitudes and concern of a father, okay, of all creation. And the father of all creation is not an owner of creation because he bought it with money. He didn't do such a thing. That's the way you've been brainwashed in this economy. You can call yourself the owner of something if you pay with gold or with the ALEFBET, electronic Bitcoin, or if you pay, with paper money. You pay with something, with some shiny coin. All of that, that's what makes you an owner. That God doesn't go with that garbage because he's only an owner of something because he makes it. He can make it. He can restore it. He can renew it. He can take care of it. That's why he's the owner. Not because he purchases. So the whole world has been brainwashed you into you have to show the dough, and that's what makes you an owner. That's how you give external value, and you transfer the value of your cryptocurrency, the hidden ALEFBET that is in you, that enables you to do all of this. Okay, so that's why I insist what the title says here: yield not your inner worth, because the ALEFBET in you is really the one that doeth the work. So you understand, and that what makes you able to behave like the golden goose, because you produce the valuables for all the companies. And the fact that you and I, we all souls share the cryptocurrency of the ALEFBET. The ALEFBET is working inside of us. It's hidden. They cannot see it. But it's the one that figures out the manual. And voila, gives birth to the products and services. So that's what I wrote here. Let me share this part with you. As it was going and playing, I wrote this. If you don't value, if you don't value and highly esteem what is said that you have and what is said that you're able to do, with what you have, which is the ALEFBET. You realize that we and I have the ALEFBET, and that's the founder of all things that came out of the word. And that's called Father in Hebrew. And that's what enables us to use all the words that are given to us so we can generate a product or a service. We can give birth to that. So we are makers, participated as makers. And because we make all the products, that's why I say your outer world. Your outer world is yours because you made it. Not because you bought it, but because you had the alphabet in you, which is the value generating entity. And once, you allow it to work with you with the things, you give birth. You understand? So if you do not learn, so I put it here. So it says, then if you, it says, able to do with what you have, that means you know the ALEFBET and you were able to do with that, then you realize that you are co-partners with God in the making of creation. Because you can make things, you can maintain them, you can sustain them. That's why you're the owner of somebody. That's why the ALEFBET continues to be the owner up until now. Because the ALEFBET continues to generate all of that inside of us. It says, if you don't value and highly esteem that about you, then somebody else is going to teach you and tell you what to value and hold in high esteem, that will make you the owner, that will make you the owner of something through money. And that's how money takes value, because you forgot. The Torah teaches you how is it that the ALEFBET, the Father, owns everything because he's the maker, and with words he can retain. He knows the difference. He knows how to sustain it and keep it going, and that's what you and I learn when you go to a job. Okay, and we are the ones generating the product. We are the one bringing. So our soul is used like a surrogate mother. You know what a surrogate mother is? In this world, a surrogate mother is one that incubates the egg if they want to put one in here, but she uses her, her own womb. But they put the seed there, put everything in there, and she, from her own body, she feeds this baby, and the baby comes to life and is born out of her. But she signs a contract never to claim parental rights, for her property, even though she is the one that developed the baby inside of her womb and everything, And the thing is, with us, we're given the idea of the owner, what he has. That's his seed of his product. So that seed is planted in our mind and understanding, and the ALEFBET works inside of us to put it together. And so we use everything to put everything, and so we give birth to this product and this service. But we never sign a contract that we're going to yield all our parental rights like a surrogate parent does, to never claim any parental rights. They just have not thought of that. So they know that we are ignorant of that, so we're never going to claim that. But since they never gave us that contract, guess what? We made the product and service. In every company, the ALEFBET inside of us makes it. So you understand? So the ALEFBET continues to be the owner, and because he did it through us, we also partakers in that. So that's why I say it's yours. Yield not to your inner world. Yield not, do not give away, or do not, relinquish your inner world to your outer world, because the outer world has not made anything. They're only a projection of what you're sending into it. They only get the valuables projected into it. So all the workers that have a soul, and they have the cryptocurrency of the ALEFBET, and they're able to figure things out, you are the owners of the world. Understand that. That's what the Torah tells you. Because that's the same way by which the Bible goes. And I'm going to finish reading this passage from Isaiah so you understand why God is very concerned that you don't lose sight of that. And let me take you here to here. It says, because it says, that you've forgotten, what you're supposed to be doing for yourself, and they're supposed to be taking care of the ALEFBET. So, then in verse 5, it says, in Isaiah verse 5 here, why should you be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart is faint. Okay? Because you understand that it's not like you're going to stop. You're going to do the parenting work all the time. Because that's what you're mandatory, that you learn the alphabet. So you're going to go and be makers of products and services. If you're a maker, you're the owner according to the Torah, because that's what makes the creator of everything an owner. Not that he buys it, but that he can make it and maintain it. If you can do that with words, then that's what makes you the owner according to the Torah. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because if they can take that ownership, then I mean they can take that value away from God, that he's not the owner. Because he had to buy the universe that he made with money. How ridiculous would that be? All right, so that doesn't fly with God. So it says, so you have everything you do. You go to a company, you become the caretaker of all the products and services that you're there. So you do the parenting care. You do the app. That's why the thing says do app. That means do the office of the parent. Okay, do the office of do app is do the office of the parenting office. So you are that. You are the real parenting patent office. You do that care. Okay. But the thing is, you don't have a heart that goes along with it. Okay, you work, you take care, you learn instruction, you take the seed of the idea, and you give it birth. And you don't realize, because you're not in the mindset of the Father, that that's how God brags about who He is. In that He makes it and He gives it away. That's what a good father does. He gives everything away for His children to enjoy. Okay, so you get to do all of this in there, but since you are not connected with the mindset, you don't have His heart. See, in the heart you connect, and then you're on the same page. You have the same meaning, the same feelings, the same intimacy. That's why ye shall seek me, and ye shall find me when you have searched for me with all of your heart. When 100% of your heart wants to feel the attitudes of God, the joy that He feels in assembling things, putting things together, and creating abundance, once you realize that that is your reality, for you were created, then, you will continue to do the things you're doing, but there'll be such joy. You'll realize what reality truly is about, and nobody will rob you of those things. You will establish where the true value of things lie, in the alphabet that is within you, and not everything that's being projected outside. So that's why you need to understand. That's why he goes through the whole verses here. Says, the whole thing says, your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. He's talking about the state of the soul. Because when you go to chapter 2, then he's talking about how they are externally. They wear, nice necklaces, nice chain on their feet. They move around. They have the latest fashion. So externally, they're looking like, they're on top of the world. They're riding the waves. They're on top of the world. But internally, there's no presence of God. So here, God is giving a description of internally. He don't see any presence of Him there. There's no joy of what He does, or what He likes. So that's why inside of them is a desolate city. There's no presence of who He is. It says, except the Lord, then it says in verse 9, except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. So even at the time of Isaiah, there were very few people that were connected with him and enjoying his fellowship. So they were around at that time. God knew who they were, but it wasn't like Sodom and Gomorrah where nobody had that in their arms. So God had just to wipe out everybody. But for the sake of the few, they were still being kept there, And then it says, verse 10, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. He's reading them like them, because most of them just want to, it says, they're like harlots. Harlots give their care for money. That's what motivates them. So, the fact that we have the alphabet in us, and it enables us to figure out things, and it enables us to do the to present the parenting of God, that's not our motivation. How much are you going to get paid for that? So if you are working anywhere, and what motivates you to do things is not the ability that you have the alphabet in you, and you can act like a maker and sustainer and maintainer, renewer, restorer, all that. That's not what drives you to. That's not the joy for what you do your job. But how much I'm getting paid? Say, my soul, my friend, you are a harlot. You doing your care and your love for pay. That's what he's talking about. Your spiritual condition is of a harlot, of a prostitute. A prostitute gives you love and care. He caresses and everything for pay, for hire. And so you take care of the baby, you give birth and everything. Well, how much am I getting paid? That's your motivation. You're nothing but a harlot. That's how badly you have been reduced. And the whole world is driven by that. What gives them money? Am I going to get paid? Am I going to get a raise for this? Am I going to get a bonus? And that's all that drives you. When the reality is without the ALEFBET, nothing gets done. Nothing is sustained. You realize the great power of the ALEFBET. You've forgotten about it. And that's the thing that God is complaining here with his people. Because it's the same right now. Even worse now, I think, because nobody talks about these things. So you rulers of Sodom, Sodom, everything given to the pleasures outside. Outside, there's no pleasure from within, but every pleasure is derived from something in the external world, from the money that you get paid, from the trinkets that you buy, all that stuff. And then it says, then it goes to verse 11:1, because you do your religious act, you go to your churches, you go to your synagogues, you act, you play the part and everything, and you think that that you please God. And then you should go out to the external world and do whatever you want. So, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith the Lord. I am fed up of the burnt offerings of rams and of fat beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of the he-gods. So no, it doesn't matter that the lamb shed his blood or anything. That has nothing to do. You're not connecting to me. You're not looking at things from my point of view. You're not in the Torah with me. You are in your religious practices, and you take comfort in that. You present an oblation. I've done my religious duty. I pray. I ask for God to give me this grace to cover me. If you pray for Christianity, to cover me with his blood here. I have plenty of these, but we have no intention whatsoever to understand the heritage you have in the ALEFBET as a maker with him, as a maker of creation with him. Go partnering with him in the same mindset. And doing everything because it is the showing off of your maker that drives you, not what the pleasure or what are you going to get paid. You're not a harlot in this world, my friend. Okay? These things are just done by the bunch because nobody mentions them to them. People don't know. It says, then it says, so he doesn't take pleasure in all of that. When you come to appear before me, who had required this at your hand to tread my courts? Who told you this is what's going to please me? that this is what the whole Torah is all about. To bring the sacrifices, shedding blood, and that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. Who taught you that? Not the Torah. It says, bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination. Burning abominations, your rituals. Unto me, the new moons, the revival meetings, all the stuff that you call, and Noche de Vigilia, all the stuff that you do, praying all night, the Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies. Let's get together for a revival. Let's do all of this. I cannot away with. I'm just fed up with it. It says, with it is iniquity, even the solemn meetings. All the stuff that you do to think that there's something going on, and you comfort yourself with those things. But you will never get into seeing things from your maker's perspective, from the ALEFBET perspective. So you're lost. And the value system that you hear within you, you don't value it at all. So you go by an external value system that has robbed the value that you're supposed to have only for the inner value system. So there's no room for anything else. So it says, your new moons, your appointed feasts, my soul hated. God says that. You tell me, I just kept, I hate it. I just can't tell you, I hate it. It says, they are a trouble unto me. I am fed up. I'm weary to bear them. I'm just to put up with so much crap. Okay? And then verse 15. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yeah, when you make many prayers, I will not hear you. Your hands are full of blood. You're guilty of misrepresenting me. You don't value me as the Father, because that's how I show myself. I don't pay for the world to be mine. I make it. I sustain it. Can you rejoice in that? That you can be a divine nurturer like I am? You see no value in that? That doesn't have any appeal to you? What the heck is wrong with you? All right? So that's why all those things are sent from Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Let me see if I can take you to that here, because I think I shared here. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 20. That's what ends up happening. Because the Lord gets fed up with the fact that, what's the use? I made you for the divine nurturing that I enjoy. Taking care of the definitions of words, holding. I even show you that I'm taking care of your DNA. I never forget who you are. Never how you're supposed to look. The DNA keeps on, projecting what I give it to do, and it's doing it in each one of your bodies. You're happy that, you're still around to enjoy this physical environment, but I am the one sustaining all of that, and you don't take it too hard. You don't consider that, that is the ALEFBET inside, that holds everything and doeth all the work, and you don't want to come and join me to be a divine nurturer when I'm showing you because I'm this way. That's why you keep on existing. And you don't want to join me in this project, in this venture of being a divine nurturer? So this is what happened in Deuteronomy 28 verse 20. The Lord, the Yud-Heh-Vav, shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand on to do, the hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed. So this is how you tell the God of the Bible. The God of the Bible will tell you, you don't do my commandments, you're going to go to hell. It doesn't talk like that. It does specifically. There's like 54 verses that tell you about all the curses. 14 verses, that's the number of David. 14 verses tell you about all the blessings that he's going to do if you adhere to his commandments, because you are in his mindset, you're enjoying his heart. So there are 14 blessings, the number of David. And then the rest of the 54 verses are all the curses. The specific curses of what he's going to do for you in the here and now. Okay, none of them says, and at the end, you're going to go to hell. No. Basically say, I'm going to destroy you physically. And it's not going to be pretty. You're going to get a lot of sicknesses as I destroy you. And he begins to enumerate them. So that's why you have to read that chapter and understand that he is in charge of you getting really bad and really sick and dying because of it. And he's in charge of you staying well and staying healthy, and having joyful life and everything, because you are here to. He does all of that. He takes the credit for that. So specific things that he does. If you do all the blessings, he's not telling you you're going to go to heaven because of that. You're Read the no. This is it just talks about how you're gonna be fruitful with the fruit of your body. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna be fruitful in the field, the work that you do. Everything is gonna be an increase of everything in the here and now. All those things. Your harvest is gonna be plenty. Everything has to do with the here and now. And then in the other ones is what things that are gonna be bad in the here and now. And so I want to talk about a little bit of that. From verse 20, chapter 20, verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken the ALEFBET, thou forsaken me, the Father. I am the creator of everything. I'm sustaining your body. I'm sustaining your thoughts. I give you ability to be able to just desire something is done. Look at all the wonders that I do with you, but you forgot about my joy in me doing all of that for you. There's not a little bit of that in you, and I don't see it at all. Everything is just, just a routine to you, but you think, even though I'm doing all of this in you and enabled your motor skills and everything, you think not one bit. That's how bad things are. Has forsaken me, has neglected me. That's the word, like being neglected, like a child being neglected. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee. That's a plague. Okay, that's pandemic. So if there's a pandemic, you're gonna be the candidate to get something from that pandemic. You're on the list. Down the line, you're gonna get it pretty soon. That's part of it. Part of destroying you is that whatever pandemic comes, you're gonna be candidate to get some of that. All right. If you don't adhere to his word, you don't enjoy his heart. So he begins down the list. The pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, something that is going to eat away, something inflammation, something that's going to eat away inside of you, and with a fever, and with inflammation. That's one of the one that everybody's bodies is so. There's a lot of inflammation in people's bodies. Their diet and everything, but also the curse, because this country, especially, they have forgotten the mindset of God. To enjoy the being and the sustainer, all that. Nothing even crosses their mind. Okay, so all of them have inflammation. It's the number one killer right now, because everything is inflamed, then you get everything else out of that. So everything is inflammation. Inflammation of the arteries, that's why you have high blood pressure, but there's a lot of inflammation in people's body. And with an extreme burning, everything, from regurgitating, like they call, what you call acid reflux. A lot of people have that. Woo! You'd be surprised how many people have that. They got, whatever they have to use, whatever, Pepto-Bismol, they have those tablets. There's a lot of, burning sensations in their body. Pains that feel like burning pains, And people in my age, like, I know a lot of people in the 60s that have to be under all kinds of painkillers because there's a burning pain all over their body. And there got to be all kinds of painkillers, that they have to be in. And so all this stuff, so it's part of all the thing, because he's working on just getting rid of you. Pretty much, because how grateful can you be, not appreciating the mindset of the Father, and know that he does to take care of you in this body to enable you to form thoughts, and he's constantly faithfully doing that, and you take not 1 second to realize, who the Father is in the here and now, so that he's just preparing to wipe you out. You think nothing of him, you neglect to give him the due acknowledgement that he deserves, and to rejoice, but you completely neglect him, so you are completely abandoned too. You abandon his mindset, so you deserve to be abandoned too. So this is a process. So then you realize, that's when you begin to take note and realize how God is working in the here and now, how he's doing the cursing and how he's doing the blessing. All right? Then he says, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass. Okay? And the earth that is under thee shall be iron. That means you're not going to produce that many. Iron doesn't produce anything. The Lord shall make the rain of the land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee, Instead of raining water, other stuff is going to rain, Because right now you have those little things flying in there, raining aluminum stuff, so you can get sick. That's part of the curse too. God allows all these things to happen because, you've completely forgotten. So, he lets all people that want to have control of this world, get away with a lot of the things because it's part of the fact that you neglected him. So, it says, the Lord shall cause, the Lord shall make the rain of the land powder and thus, until this, and it shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. All the purpose is to destroy those that completely neglect him, do not appreciate his mindset. You're here just to consume the world anyhow, because you're only here happy to be a consumer. So you're a consumer means you're only a user and an abuser. You're happy to be like that. So God does a merciful thing to the earth when you want to be here just to consume, use and abuse. What good are you? You want to destroy everything else, so might as well, be destroyed. Otherwise, you're going to consume too much. You're going to do much destruction. So you're nothing like a termite to the earth, a cancer to the earth, if you please. Okay, and so the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. Everything is going to scare you. And shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. Now, this is an interesting thing that he did, especially to his people. And the Jewish people have seen this happen to them. Whenever they forsake and they mingle with their society, they intermarry, they do mixed marriages, because they don't allow that, the Jewish people, because that's marrying into a different God, into a different Pesel, a different, face to put in front of the Torah. It's not allowed. So, and I says, and then it's between move into all the kingdoms of the earth, and thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. So you're just gonna just lie there, nobody's gonna bother to dry away the vultures and all that from you. He's gonna let them have their feast with you. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with scab, and with the itch, wherefore thou canst not be healed. That's why a lot of the sicknesses right now, they don't cure it, they only treat it. You get sick now, you're not going to get a cure. Your sicknesses are like the little pets that all the doctors adopt. When you're sick, it's like you're bringing a pet to the doctor, and the doctor's going to take care, going to give it a treat. You like give a treat to the dog, that's what he's going to give you, a treat. You bring a sickness to you brought a pet, I'm going to give it a treat. It's a treatment. So they give you a treatment for life, because they're going to milk you dry. That's what they think. You're not going to get healed. No cure for you. Just treatment. Just a little treat. And the Lord shall smite thee, and this is the worst thing. The Lord shall smite thee with the MBA. That's what I call it. The Lord shall smite thee with madness. That means you're going to do crazy things. Giving value to this world system, that you can be owner of something because you have a shiny coin. That's what makes you an owner. That's crazy. That's stupid. So, but you're going to believe that. The Lord shall smite thee. That means he's going to get rid of you with madness. You're going to believe crazy stuff. And blindness. You're not going to see what they're trying to do to you. You're just going to faithfully accept the stuff and astonishment of heart. You're going to easily be made to fear by anything that they announce you. And they're going to have you left and right. Today they're going to calm you down. They're going to give you bad news tomorrow. And you're going to go back and forth like this. Astonished in my heart. You're going to be, your heart is just going to be torn to pieces in the midst of all the news that you're going to be hearing. And that's part of the process. So the MBA is basically what is driving the world right now. Thus is, the MBA is the Masters of Business Administration. But the way God runs this administration is madness, blindness, and astonishment. For the wicked that neglect to be in his mindset. Okay? So that's why this title, and I'm finished with this. So in the title here, yield not your inner worth, your original ALEFBET, to your outer world, because the work of your hands and the ALEFBET in you made everything that is in the mule. So it is yours too. As a maker, everything belongs to you. The one that maintains everything. But if you do not get to the Torah and realize what is yours, then it's robbed from you, and you go with the external value system, and then God has to get rid of you. Even with this pandemic, he's getting rid of a lot of people. If not the virus, their depression, their anxiety, and all the stuff that goes around with all the stuff that is measured here. Inflammation, high blood pressure, heart attacks, all of that. It's part of the whole thing of chapter 28 of all the curses that come in the world from those that neglect and abandon his mindset and forget to walk in that mindset, completely have forsaken it. What a cruel thing to do to your maker. And he continues to be in you, but you never connect. You're always doing the work of the Father. You always have to do the carrying of products and services, but you never connect. How long is it going to take? All right, so think it over, because maybe I'm the only voice that you have heard brought these things to your attention, but that's what the Torah says. And since nobody pays me, so I have to please anybody, so I don't have to please anybody but the one who is my only sponsor, which is the ALEFBET. And with him, I'm so happy. I'm so connected with him that I am here just to please him and to say things that will reveal who he is and his mindset and everything, that as to why he does things. And since somebody has to pay me, I'm not afraid of anybody that liking what I'm going to say, because after all, this is what the Bible says, and I'm not coming with anything new. I'm just here to promote the Torah, to establish it as the only rule that is ruling everything, because everybody is nothing but a copycat. And they do a really lousy job at that. So I stay with the original, and that's what I preach unto you. All right, so God bless each and every one of you. I'm glad that some of you got here. Yeah. So some reason they changed the way in which this thing is looking. So I just realized at the end that the comments are on the other side of the screen now. So it was hard to see that anybody was watching. But then I realized that some people were here watching at the end. So we had a good time. Rosa, we did miss you, but we want to have you the next time. So we're going to have a good time. So it was good to have all of you guys there. That were able to come and join in the things here, in the teaching. So now I'm just going to close, because we had a good long time today with this. It's a very long one, but it's worth it, I think. Okay? Because we need to learn. We need to learn this stuff. We need to, getting more into the Torah. So it's over 2 hours, which I don't usually do 2 hours. But I have to this time because I've done it for a while. And I think this needs to be said, You need to know what makes you a maker, is that you are owner, is that you are a maker. And then, so that's everybody that has the cryptocurrency of the ALEFBET, the real one that is hidden. They call it cryptocurrency now the ALEFBET, because, it's hidden, in a software thing. But everything all the time, from the very beginning, from the day of the pyramids, we have been doing everything with the crypto, the hidden currency of the ALEFBET inside of us. And that's the one that has always been doing the work. And don't let anybody steal that accreditation that should only be given to the ALEFBET and not to nothing else. All right, so let me close here with a little thing here. Here we go.